blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry, one artist at a time.
Hello, friends. Happy Thursday, Friday Eve, as we always say here on the Legal Lounge podcast. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this week. And so this week we are doing personal and business credit. I'm excited about this. Also, how to get funding for your business. So I hope you guys are ready for that. Now, remember, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's Mitchell Legal Solutions, PLLC. If you subscribe, that's where you get the replays. And you can also get notifications for when it's going live. And if you guys would please like the show, that'll help with the algorithm and the numbers, so it'll appear higher in the podcast. And I don't think I have anything else. I'm Nashawn Mitchell, for those of you that are new. As my title says, I am an attorney, realtor, and insurance agent. I have all those competencies so that I can be full service to my clients. So if I am your realtor and sell or buy a house with me, then I can also put your home in a trust to protect it. We can get insurance as the good foundation of your estate planning if I do your will or your trust. And so all of my clients, I have a trust relationship with them, and they trust me as their provider. And so I just have all those competencies wrapped into one. So we're going to get started. I'm going to introduce, she's everything. She's my neighbor. She's my good friend. She is also, I am her client in this business that we're talking about tonight. Her name is Darlene Moore. She is the CEO of We All Rise Enterprise. And I love that because she does have the heart of bringing everyone along on the journey to better personal credit, better business credit, or just whatever you need in order to get funding. So she's been in the financial industry for over 20 years, but for the last 6 years, she has had her own business, We All Rise, and she's been helping everyone with their personal and business credit. So here she is. Welcome to Darlene.
Hello. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Look, all right, everybody, drop in the chat where you at, where you're coming from. Tell Darlene how you doing. Drop your questions in the comments section so that we can be working on them. She could be answering them as she goes along. And I do want y'all to know I am a client of Darlene's, as you hear her talking. And I'm just going to give the plug before she even say anything, because y'all, I just needed a lot of stuff cleaned up. And you know how old stuff creep on your credit, even stuff that maybe a family member's ends up on your credit. But the other thing I really like that no one else has done for me that Darlene is doing. So y'all know, like, I was married once before, but I got married again and changed my name. So my credit reports had all kinds of names on them, y'all. Just all kinds of names, about 20 different variations of my name. Shannon Verna Watts, Shannon Mitchell, just craziness. Okay, right? So she has standardized my name across all 3 bureaus. And she has cleaned up old addresses and got those off and got the addresses cleaned up. Now that helps protect you against fraud, because if you got all these old addresses and all these name variations, that just gives people more opportunity to pretend like they're you. So if you can get your credit report cleaned up to where there is a standard address across all 3 and a standard name across all 3. So say somebody they took my first married last name Shannon, which sounds like a first name, right? It is a first name. And then they took my maiden name Watts. And so I have Shannon Watts on my credit report, right? So if someone uses that, it'll bounce back on my credit report. Yes, Shannon Watts, And so to get that cleaned up, anyone else who I've had, like, hey, help me clean my credit up, they've never done that. And so what I'll tell y'all, for real, within a week of signing up with her, I started seeing movement on my credit report. This is cleaned up. That's cleaned up. Y'all, she done got 8 inquiries off. Y'all know inquiries take your score down. Inquiries will bring your score down a lot. I mean, it could be, Darlene will tell you number, it might be 3 to 10 points per inquiry. And so she got 8 of them off for me. And I keep getting pinged that my score is increasing. My score is increasing, and I may just now be coming up on 1 month with her. So okay, I'm gonna stop talking. Here she is. She has great information. Go ahead, Darlene.
She is giving it to y'all. She's giving it to you. She is giving you accurate information. So I know you guys trust her. You are already a part of her group. You are contributing. You're coming to hear what she has to talk about. She has really good topics every week. Listen, she's bringing it to you. She's bringing food. All you guys have to do is eat. So listen, I am going to go through just credit repair in general. I'm going to give you guys some information. Some of the information you may already know, some things you may not know, but I am going to provide you guys with some information, and hopefully it's going to help and bless someone. So as Nikki, I call her, has stated, as she stated, I am the CEO of We All Rise Enterprise. My organization or my company, whatever it is that I do, I have several companies under this umbrella, but everything that we do hinges off of the same motto, which is We All Rise. My plan and my hope is to make sure that I help individuals that maybe don't have information, or maybe they need information. I help them to get established. I help them to get themselves in position to where they can build their credit. And then, with anything that I'm doing, I'm making sure that the individuals have the knowledge so that they can do these things on their own after I'm gone. So without, further ado, let me get into credit. Let me get into funding and talk to you guys a little bit about that. So credit as a whole, we know we have personal credit and we have business credit. We're going to start out with personal credit. When you think about personal credit, you should think about your financial reputation, because that's what it is. It is really a snapshot of how you handle borrowed money. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about what's a lender looking at, what do they think of me? They have nothing to go on. They don't know you personally. They're looking at your financial reputation and how you handle borrowed money. So what makes up your credit score are the following things. It is your payment history. It is your utilization. It is your credit age. It is the number of accounts that you have, the number of accounts that you have, and then your inquiries. That's 5 different things that make up that one credit score. When you guys see that credit score is comprised of those 5 things. Each one of those things hold some weight. I'm going to tell you, your payment history holds the most weight. It's 35% of your credit score. Any of these things, though, if they are out of whack, too far to the left or too far to the right, they are going to affect your score. That is when you see your credit scores go up and down or fluctuate. So those are the factors that make up your credit profile. Utilization. You want your utilization to be between 1 to 10%. That's excellent. If it's 30% or under, it's acceptable. But if you are above 30%, you begin to be risky to lenders. So keep that 30% in your mind. That is where you kind of want to stay at with your utilization. That's how much credit you are utilizing and using. That's what you want to stay with. But if you're between 1 and 10%, you're in excellent shape. And if you're getting business credit, which we'll get to in a moment, your utilization needs to be at 10% or below for business funding. Okay.
Now, let me tell the people, Darlene, let me tell the people real quick, because on my show, what I like to do is be transparent and make it real for the people so they don't, everybody sometimes feel like it's just them. Now, I got Darlene to help me because So one, my utilization is out of whack. Now she can't help me with that. I got to pay my own bills now. Yeah, my utilization is at 67% because I'm trying to fund my business off my personal credit. And so now I can't get the business credit because my personal credit is out of whack because I'm using that to fund my business. I'm trying to swap it around. So she's also consulting me on these things. So I have some good and some bad. I have like, she said I had 34 paid on time accounts. Hello, y'all. 34 paid on time accounts. And I have good longevity in a lot of accounts, but I had those I had like 11 inquiries when I started with her. So she got 8 of them off. And really only had 3 negative accounts. And I just got an Equifax report. They came out, Barclay, Avant, and one other. It came off. And so now my job is to get my utilization down. So y'all look at this drawer right here at my desk. Look at this, y'all. Y'all, these my credit cards. I got them in a rubber band in the drawer at my desk right here. And I don't they're not in my purse anymore. And y'all can't see, but on the top of each card, I got the balance and the percentage of utilization that's on the card as motivation to pay them off. So now these ones in the back, see, they ain't got no, because I paid these off. So these are paid off. So, and I'll send Darlene a text and say, girl, I paid the card, or I got it down to 20%. So it's also good accountability to have her on your team to help you get there. She reminds you of what you're working for. When I want to get on Amazon, and I pointed out to my husband the other day, you ain't seen a truck roll up for me because I ain't got no money, y'all. My money in this drawer right here. I don't take them out. I take my debit card, and if I don't got it in the bank, I can't buy it. Go ahead, let the people know. These are real things. This not just us being presenting information. These are real things.
She is giving the real tea. I have a little a little trick for you guys on the utilization too. I'll let somebody remind me to tell them about the utilization if you got high utilization and you're trying to figure out how to make it work. Man. So put a pin in that for me. So okay. on the utilization, she's absolutely correct. You want to be at 30% or below. If you are trying to get business funding, it needs to be 10% or below before they will give you funding on the business side. So that's utilization. Now, a strong credit profile is going to be a profile where you have on-time payments, you got low balances, you have low utilization, things like that. When it's weak is when you have high balances. Sometimes we can't help that. We out here living, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes we can't help that. But what is considered weak or weak profile and what will hurt your profile is if you have high balances, if you have late payments, of course, if you have collection items or bankruptcies or repossessions, all of those things, student loans, all the things that be lifing. Because listen, we all go through this thing called life. And if you come across somebody that tell you they ain't never had anything going wrong on their credit profile, I'm going to tell you they are lying. They probably got it repaired, but they're not telling the truth. So those are just some of the things that will weaken your account or strengthen the account. Now, some people may be saying right now, well, I can tell you right now, my credit needs some help. I got some issues going on. And I can tell you that that's where credit repair comes in. And I don't like to call it credit repair because it is credit restoration. You need to have your credit restored. And when you get your credit restored, it's not about just getting it restored. It needs to be structured if you are wanting to get any type of lending. That's a home. Let me just say, for a home, you can get lending. If you get your credit repaired or restored, you can get lending, but you're probably not going to get favorable rates if it's not structured right. So your structure matters. So those are just some of the things to keep in mind. So if you are in a position right now, I'm trying to, kind of hit people at all points. But if you're in a position right now where you are saying, I don't even have no credit. My credit profile is thin. Or you're saying to yourself, I got credit, but it's jacked up and I need it to be repaired. Then those things can happen. If it's thin, you can use builder accounts. If you guys haven't heard of builder accounts, those are just what we call starter accounts. Those are your secured cards. Those are your credit builder loans. Those are the things that you want to invest in so that you can build your trade lines and build your credit history, because you have to have credit age and you have to have a mix of credit for you to get lending.
Darlene, I'm sorry to cut you up, but let me put it right here so the people know right where it go. Capital One, they have a secured credit card. Get on CapitalOne.com, click on a secure card. You send them about $200, $300. They'll open it. Go charge you this high gas right now. Just what I did early when I needed to do it was I would get a tank of gas. I would wait about 24, 48 hours, and on the app I'd pay it. And then just, so just get it paid. One other quick resource, and we'll try to double back on this, is because I don't want her to lose her train of thought, is a secured loan from the bank. Go to the bank, go to your local bank, take them $500 or $1,000, put it in there. They're gonna give it to you, but then just leave the money in there, use that to pay the loan back. And you'll be making payments. And when I sell houses and people need help with their credit, if they do that in 2 to 3 months, they score shoots up when they have that secured loan from the bank. That helps their score. So there's these starter accounts she's talking about. There's several ways to get them. But like she said, you don't want to just be haphazardly out here getting them either. She will work with you and say, yeah, get this one, and then like pay these 2 things off. Don't get no more inquiries. It's a strategy. It's a structure. And even I have her, because I'm trying to get mine structured. So you need your credit report to look. The credit report you need to buy a car is different than the one to buy a house. It's different than the one to get a business loan. It's different than, it depends on what you're trying to do. How many of us know you can go and get a car with a 200 credit score? I mean, you can get, but you can't get a house with that. Now, in terms of a house, you can get a house with a pretty okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just like she said about the rates. So anyway, I wanted to embed this part in here. I didn't mean break her train of thought, but I want y'all to match the action with what she's talking about. She's not just saying things in the abstract. These are real things that you can do. Go ahead, Darlene.
Absolutely. I'm going to segue off of what you were just saying. The structure and the way that you go about building your credit profile is extremely important. But the types of banks that you go to, she was talking about, you can go to your local bank, but I am going to say this. You need to know about your local bank.
Yes.
Because some people are banking with local banks, and those banks are not good banks as far as being able to lend to you, as far as being able to be able to get the things that you want to get. So you need to know if your bank is a bank that you're going to be able to, when I put my money in here, am I going to be able to come back to you guys and get something? It's a relationship. So if you put your money in there for a secured card or a secured loan, but 2 years, you're down the line and you can't ever get like a lending with them, then you're wasting your time with that bank. So you need to make sure you are putting your money with banks that are going to reward you for building your credit and having a relationship with them. So there's 3 different types of banks out there. Right off the bat, I don't know if you guys know, but the number 1 banking institutions that you should be building relationships with is credit unions. Credit unions. The reason is credit unions give out the bag, but they do not have the stringent lending requirements that other banks have. They are very flexible. That's what I mean by that. They're bendable and they're flexible on how they will lend. So if you are not with the credit union, you need to get with the credit union. So that's where you want to put your money. That's where you want, if you're going to get secured cards and secured loans, because credit unions have them, that is where you go. Because the credit unions are the ones that will turn your secured lending or card into an unsecured product. And then after they turn it into an unsecured product, they will give you lending that will be far greater than the big banks. Big banks take less risk because they're big banks. So credit unions is the first banking institution. That's the one you will always want to go to, but you want to have a blend. The second types of banks are regional banks. So those are going to be your regional banks that are all around in the areas that you are in. Those are very good banks. They are flexible too. Not as flexible as credit unions, but they are very flexible. They give out really good lending as well. And then you have your big banks. I'm not judging or coming down on big banks, but I am telling you that big banks, you have to work harder if you want to get funding from them, and it's not something like $500 to $1,000 or $2,000. If you're just starting out, the big banks are not the ones that are going to give you a bag. I go get an account with a big bank, I get a secured card with them, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. Now I go and I'm trying to get $5,000 or $10,000. You're likely not going to get that in the beginning, even though you did everything you're supposed to do, because they don't take those types of risks. They're waiting on you to build your credit profile so that they can lend you money. So those are the three types of banks that you should know about, and those are the orders in which you should be trying to build relationships with them.
Very quickly, because there was two questions. The first one said, how do student loans affect your credit score? I'm going to let you do that one real quick. I know, right? Because thank you, Uncle Joe. Honey, he forgave my $232,000. There really wasn't $232,000, but the interest racked up so bad on it. So,
Yes.
So I'm going to let you do that one. But let me answer real quick. Do credit unions do home loans? Absolutely, they do. And I'm going to give a shameless plug for Navy Federal Credit Union. That's who financed my house. And Navy Federal Credit Union has a wonderful product I think it's called Home Choice, where you don't have to refinance your house when the interest rate drops. You just pay a $250 fee and they drop the rate for you. Anybody who knows anything knows that is monumental, because refinancing to drop the rate, it might take you anywhere. The lowest I've seen is 36 months. It could take as much as 60 months. Y'all, that's 5 years to recoup the savings that you saved by refinancing. So Navy Federal has a great product, but yes, credit unions do home loans. I'm with Darlene. I recommend to start with a credit union. I have a very strong relationship with Navy Federal. Everything I own is at Navy Federal. And so I have some relationships with some other banks. I've done the Chase, Bank of America, blah, blah, all that. She is absolutely correct. And actually, I did get a regional bank. Shameless plug for my son. He works at Bank Plus. It's a regional bank, but that's who gave me my first business credit line of credit. It was a regional bank. So everything she said is accurate. I'm going to let you answer real quick, Darlene, on how student loans impact your credit score, because a lot of that has to do with what the balance is. Like I had $232,000 sitting on my credit report. So, honey, I was dead to the world, okay?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Uncle Joe. And so people out there, I can tell you what I did to get my loans forgiven. We can talk about that, you guys, at another time. But yes, go ahead and talk about how student loans affect your credit.
Yeah, so listen, student loans impact your credit in a couple of ways. Most people that have student loans, they have student loans and they are past due on them if they don't have like forbearance or deferment or something like that. So it's impacting you by being negative, and it's impacting you by it being debt. So it's impacting your score two ways: your debt to income, and it's impacting you because it's a negative item if you're not paying it on time or if you're past due on it. If you are not past due on your student loans, and your student loans are sitting there and they're just like in forbearance or deferment or something like that, and they're just sitting there, it is not really hurting you because it's not negative. Where it is going to probably have some weight is when you go to apply for something and lenders are looking at it. If you have a list of student loans, even though they see that they're in deferment, they, in their minds, at some point you got to pay these. So they're taking that into consideration when they're determining if they're going to lend to you or not. I hope that makes sense. Did it answer your question? But student loans can be removed. And shameless, I'll tell you guys about credit repair. I know Nishan has told you guys, but we'll talk about that too. So anything you want to add to that, Nishan, before
just the next step to the answer is, like I said, it's a mixture of what I said and she said. It's going to depend on how much they are. Like what they were doing was saying, we're going to count 1% of the value of your student loans against your monthly debt to income. So every creditor had a standard for how they were treating student loans. That's what you need to know wherever you're applying for credit at. Whenever you think about applying for credit, that's a strategy. You shouldn't just be haphazardly out here applying for stuff. It's almost like a call, like call your lawyer, let me call my credit counselor and be like, I want to get something. And they may be like, your report ain't where it needs to be to get that or whatever. And so whatever creditor you're applying to, know what standards they have for what they're looking at. They may not care at all about your student loans. Like Ford don't care. If you go in a Ford dealership, Ford cars are actually designed for everyone to own them. So they got a car and a financing plan for you. They'll get you a car. They don't care about your student loans. And it may not be the car you want, but you can get a new one. So in any event, that's the impact. She's right. If it's not like you're late on it, it's not negatively hurting you. In some instances, it might affect your score depending on the value, but that's the different credit reports I was talking about. So yes, we hope that answer is helpful. We're happy to expand, but I'm shameless plug. If you hire Darlene, she'll tell you about all she'll help you and tell you about all that. Because like I said, I have hired Darlene. Go ahead, Darlene.
All right, I'm moving forward. So listen. So then when you guys are thinking about, do I qualify for anything? Can I get credit? Do not, please hear me when I say this. Do not apply for things if it's going to be a hard pull right then. If you are just fishing around or if you're trying to see if I can get credit. Do not apply for things that are going to be a hard pull, meaning that when you're applying, they're going to say, we're pulling your credit report and you have to check yes to say you agree with that. The reason you don't want to do that is because it generates an inquiry, whether you are approved or not. And I'll get to this in just a few minutes, but if you have more than 2 to 3 inquiries in a 2-year time frame, because inquiries remain on your credit profile for 2 years. So if you have 2 or more, 2 to 3 is the max you want to have for 2 years. If you have more than that, it's going to affect your credit score, but it also is going to affect your ability to get lending. So what you can do instead of applying for things where you're going to get a hard pull, y'all got to do some apply for stuff where it's going to be a soft pull. So you can actually see if you could be pre-approved for something without it even affecting your credit score. It's never going to show up. It's not an inquiry. Okay. So don't apply blind. Pre-qualify yourself first. And I'm going to tell you guys about some soft pull places so that you guys can utilize those if you want to see if you can get funding or lending for something. Okay. So I'll give you some of those. Let me tell.
The question said, what's the difference between a hard pull and a soft pull?
So a hard pull means that that creditor is pulling your credit report to see if they're going to give you lending, but that inquiry, that hard pull, shows up on your credit profile. It shows as an inquiry, meaning that creditor inquired. So what that does is that tells the whole world, anybody that pulls your credit, anybody that's considering to give you any type of lending, it tells the whole world who you've tried to get credit with. And the one thing that banks do not like, they do not like a thirsty individual that is looking for funding. And it seems crazy, but it's the truth. They want to lend money to people that ask for it but don't need it. So you have to make your credit profile look as if you don't need it, even when you do. So that's what a hard pull is. A soft pull is when you have lenders. There are lots of lenders out there that do soft pulls first, meaning you go and you put in your information to see if you can get a certain amount of money or a car or whatever it is. And they say, no, this will be no harm to your credit profile. That is going to be a soft pull. They are going to be pulling, but it's behind the scenes so that they can see what your credit profile looks like from behind the scenes and to determine if you are going to be pre-approved for that product. Now, when they get ready, if you continue on through the process and you say, yes, I want to accept that offer. If they say you're pre-approved and then you say, yes, I want that $15,000, then they will do the actual hard pull. But the soft pull lets you know what your chances are. More than likely, if you get pre-approved on a soft pull, that is an 80 to 90% chance that you are going to be approved. It might not be for the exact amount, but it will be for something. So does that make sense?
Yes. And can I add to that, is this true, Darlene? Is it that the soft pull is really, they see your score and maybe some identifying information? The hard pull is where they get the devil is in the details. That's when they know. They can see your debt to income. They can see your last highest balance. They can see all your credit that you have. They can see everything. Whereas a soft pull, like you said, it gives them an idea that you probably are qualified, because then they can see your score and they can see some identifying information like your name and address and like you didn't lie about that stuff. It's not the detail that a hard pull is. Is that accurate?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay.
Which you're absolutely correct, which segues me into this. So let's just say, for example, you have a 700 credit score. Well, that's a 700 credit score, and that's a good credit score, right? People have 700 credit scores, you can get things. So you can apply for something. You have a 700 credit score, and you can apply for something and you can do with a company, and it's a soft pull. That company will do the soft pull. What they're going to see is your credit score, and they are going to see a mixture of what you have going on your credit profile. It's like a silhouette. They can't dig into the details, but that 700 credit score is telling them something, right? It's telling them that this person's more than likely has on-time payments. This person more than likely has utilization that may not be completely out of, high. This person is not likely going to have 10 inquiries. It's a guessing game for them because of your score. Now, they do have to go and pull. When they give you that pre-approval, they will pull, and your credit score is going to more than likely align with what their banking algorithm underwriting requirements are, meaning what they look for. More than likely, it's going to align with that, which is why you are typically going to get approved if you're pre-approved for something. So do those pre-approvals, do those soft pulls. They're not going to hurt you. You can do them all day long. You can do soft pulls all day long, see if you're approved for something, pre-approved for something, and then you can pick and choose on the ones that you're like, okay, I really think I want this or I want this one. And then you can go ahead and agree for them to pull your credit so that they can look under the hood now and look at all the pieces and determine if they're going to be able to lend you something. So when they do lend, just be cognizant of the fact that they may not, once they go under the hood, they might say, oh my gosh, they had a great credit score, but this person only has credit cards. They don't have a mortgage. They only have credit cards. They don't have any installment loans. Your credit profile is best when you have a credit mix. That's what I was talking about when I said a mixture of accounts. But just because you don't mean that you don't get approved, but that may cause that lender to not give you the 10,000 you were asking for and maybe say we're going to do 7,000.
Yes, and can I confirm that closed accounts have no impact on your credit, but it's best to remove them off your report, right?
So closed.
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So that's true. That's true and false. So closed accounts, if they are negative. So if they are a collection item, if they're negative in any type of way, a repossession, a volunteer repossession, by the way, there's no difference between the two. So, voluntarily surrender your vehicle, they're going to do the same thing. It's going to have the same impact as if they just picked it up on their own. So collections, all of those things, if it's a closed account and it's negative, it's impacting your credit, which means that when lenders pull your credit, they are able to see those closed accounts. They're closed, but they're still on your credit report, and a lender can see them. And so they're not going to lend anything to you if you have collection items or repos or anything like that on your credit profile. So it does impact you in a negative way that way. Now, it makes me a little upset because it's like a catch-22. So people say, well, if my credit, if a negative item is closed, you're telling me that it impacts my credit score. It impacts the lender. It hinders them from giving you lending. And then it is impacting your score, but in a negative and a positive way. In a positive sense, it's a closed item. It's negative, but you're still getting some points. You know that credit score you got, the one that's like a 560 or a 580 or a 680, that score, some pieces of that score is that closed account that's negative. Follow me for just a second. So then when I come along and I get that item removed, because I got to get it removed to restore your credit so that lenders will lend to you, right? So I get it removed, and then people are like,
but my score went down. Yes.
Your score is going to go down because you have an item that, even though it was negative, it did have some weight. Now I've removed that negative item, which you got to do. You don't have a choice if you want to get lending, get a house, get anything. So when I remove that item, your score drops, but it drops because that item has been removed. And it also drops because guess what else you've lost?
Longevity on that account.
You had 7 accounts. I removed a collection. Now you only got 6 accounts. So now your credit age and the amount of accounts that you have decreased. All of that plays a factor on your credit score. But don't fret, because we get all of those wiped off, and then we help you build your profile up so that you can get lending with
the
positive
secured ones that we talked about. The counterbalance is get the secured credit card or the secured loan from your local credit union. That's the counterbalance. Okay, we want to answer a few of the questions because everyone is anxiously doing that. So, Jasmine, hey Jazzy asked, how do you remove a closed account? And I want to give this pitch for Darlene, who has, honey, she must have some powerful software. I don't know what she's doing over there. She pushing buttons and things are happening, okay? You can dispute it yourself. That's just a lot of work, y'all. It's a lot of back and forth. Let Darlene do that back and forth for you. It's a lot of back and forth. We out here working, trying to pay off to get our utilization down. We ain't got time to be fooling with TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. No. So anyway, you can, if you want to do it, you dispute it. But the other thing is, because Darlene has powerful software methods, she has all the language, the statutes. Okay, so back on the law side, this is the Legal Lounge podcast. There are legal statutory ways to get information off your credit report. She does that every day for a living. Let her do it. Y'all, I'm too swamped, okay? Look, I can't do it. I'm trying to get murderers out of jail and everything else. But there are legal statutory ways. Last week, the episode was about bankruptcy. We talked about legal statutory bankruptcy, a legal way to wipe all of your debts clean because the government itself, based on Christian values, has said you're entitled to a fresh start. We talked about bankruptcy last week. This week, we're talking about credit repair, personal, and then building business credit. There are statutory ways that allow for things to come off your credit for a myriad of reasons that we don't even have time to discuss tonight. But Darlene can get that done because is what she does all day. So she has access to the statute numbers, the letters, the tactics, the strategies, and everything else in order to get your credit report legally where it should be. You know, favor ain't fair, as we like to say in the spirit world. And when you got Darlene, favor ain't fair in this credit game because she's going to use everything she has to get it. Y'all, I'm getting the emails that say, what do I have? Capital One. Who is that? Experian or Equifax? One of those that, monitors your stuff and you get the emails. My score went up. When those inquiries came off, my score went up like 24 points just from those inquiries coming off. And so that's how you do that. Are there other ways to create revolving credit other than just credit cards? Now that one I'll leave for you.
Yes. So revolving means just that. So it is just going to be credit cards. It can be retail cards like what's that famous one? NFM, Nebraska. Those are revolving, like any card that you have revolving is anything where you're going to be, I'm sure you know this piece, but for other people, revolving is anything that you have that once you use it, you have the ability to use those funds again once you use it and pay it off, or once you use it and pay it. So it's revolving, just like a credit card is. As you use that card, use it, and then you pay it, then you have the availability again. That's what any revolving card is going to do. And you do need revolving cards or revolving accounts as a part of your credit mix. So that is important to have.
So a department store card. This is my other sign on here, Javarius, that asked the question. Hey, Javarius. So yes, so there's credit cards, but there are department store cards that can be revolving. So like she said, whenever you see credit and it's a set amount they give you, and as you pay it down, you can use it again, that's revolving. There's also installment loans. That's when there's a set amount, and as you pay it down, you just pay it down, like your car note. That's an installment loan. It's a certain amount. You're going to pay a certain amount every month. You're going to pay in installments until it's paid off. So that's an installment loan. And then you have a mortgage that, they want to see. There's lines of credit that may be treated differently. The bigger banks will look at a line of credit as a different type of credit than installment revolving. Maybe sometimes smaller banks won't look at it differently. But when she talked about a credit mix, she means mortgages, installment, revolving, and it could be line of credit, could be the other one. Those different mixes.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
We're gonna put her what everyone that got the email communication about this, I put her website information on there. We'll put it in here as well. And so everybody knows we'll probably run 10 minutes over. It's 6:45. We haven't even gotten a business credit. So let's let her get to business credit, and then we'll try to field more questions at the end. Go ahead, Darlene.
Okay. So I'm gonna go through. So listen. So everyone knows their current credit profile. If you don't, you should get you a free credit report. You're entitled to a free credit report. And then there is a link that I have where you can get all 3 credit bureaus. Nashawn will share that with you guys. You can sign up to get all 3 credit bureaus. Everyone should be knowing what's going on with their credit at all times. And you're able to sign up and get that. But your credit profile is fundable right now. You are able to get funding right now if you have the following. If you have a 680 or better credit score, if you got 100% payment history, meaning no late payments, you haven't been late, if your utilization is at 30% or below, and if it's above that, you still can get some funding. If you have between 5 to 8 accounts, individual accounts, that means like a credit card, 3 credit cards, a car loan, all those are all individual accounts. If you have 5 to 8 accounts, and then if you have 0 to 3 inquiries. So if you have those things, then you have a fundable profile. And that is what I actually do. I have to help people get their credit repaired and restored because people come to me for funding. Personal funding and business funding, but most of the time I have to assist them with their credit repair before that. So let me talk. I'm going to touch on bank behavior for just a second. Please just be cognizant of the fact that your banking information is not on your credit report, but it is very important to know that things like overdrafts, negative balances, inconsistent deposits, things like that, those things will have an effect on your secondary credit reports that do look at banking institutions, but those things will also have an impact on your business credit if you're a person that's going to be getting business credit. So the personal side credit, it's tied to you. The business credit, it builds the business power for you. There's a way that both of them work together and intertwine. You will find that out, from me if you reach out to me and you're interested in credit repair or you're interested in funding. But for sake of time, I'm going to get into the business portion. So, business credit. Okay. Your business reputation is separate from you. So what you do, in your business, that is going to affect how you're able to get business funding and business lending. So the differences these are the key differences. On the personal side, all the credit reporting agencies use the same exact systems. Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. They use those systems. They're all the same systems, meaning they all use the same models. But on the business side, you have 3 different bureaus as well. Plus, you have the SBA bureau that's by itself, and they all are different systems. They all do their own thing. They all got their own rules, which is why it's so difficult for people to build business credit. When you get to the business side, you got to really know what's going on because every one of those bureaus, they don't talk to each other. They do their own thing. They're their own business. They do their own scoring system. They all go from 0 to 100 points, but they do their own individual thing. So keep that in mind. The business, on the business side, you have Paydex, that's under Duns and Brass. You have Experian Business, and then you have Equifax Business. Those are the three bureaus that are used on the business side. And then, of course, you have the SBA, which is a separate lender, though they're the ones that look at you when you're doing small business loans. Okay, so three systems, three totally different opinions. All of them live in the business world under your business credit. What builds your business credit is your payment history. If you don't hear anything else, you got a whole lot of factors that build your history on the personal side. But when it comes to the business side, the main thing they look at is your payment history. So that is extremely important. If you mess up your payment history, your business side is going to suffer. It is very difficult to get any lending, and if you have late payments or you mess up your you get defaulted or things like that. I really hate to say this, but you typically have to get a whole new business because it is difficult to get a business back on track because payment history is the number one thing they look at. Now they look at accounts that are reporting as well, and they look at the time that you've been in business. So those are the three things that they look at on the business side. The thing that people make the biggest mistake about on the business side is they think that all accounts report on the business side. So when you go out and get business credit, you're thinking, hey, I got this business credit, I done got all of this stuff, and you think you shucking and jiving. And so you're thinking, when I get ready to get some real business lending, it should be a go. I'm paying all my business credit on time. You need to watch your stuff, which is why you need to have NAV. If you do not have it, the link is going to be in the description. If you have a business, NAV is the one that you go to. They house all your information for you to see what's going on your bureaus, on the business side. Because I am here to tell you, not all businesses report business credit. As a matter of fact, a lot of them do not. It kind of sucks because you got all of this good stuff you're doing on the business side, but don't nobody know about it but you and the person that you got that business contract with.
And that was my problem. That was my problem. Yeah.
Was it? Oh my gosh, yes.
And that was my problem. And you all, I do have nav.com. She's telling you about it. We're going to post the link for that too. I do have nav, and we'll talk about next week. I'm going to do how to start a small business and different business entities. We're going to talk about that thing she just said about she's like I even started a fresh business. I have a holding company now, but I bought me a shelf company. That's a company that's been sitting on the shelf for a few years. It's aged for you already. And so the day you buy it, it's ready for business credit because you're buying it at 3 years old, and there's some states with laws that make it look like you were always the original owner, Colorado and Wyoming, to name two of them. So just to tell you, she's giving you good stuff on that, on the whole. The payment history of the business is important. One other thing about that, I was fooled by Capital One. I got a Capital One Spark card for one of my businesses, and I thought I had a business card, and it was reporting to my personal credit. So make sure so my card, it says Spark Business, and my business name is on it, but it's actually reporting to my personal credit. Pay attention to that. Sorry, Darlene. Go ahead. Get back on.
No, those are all very good points. That it's true. So don't make the mistake of thinking that just because you have business credit that it is reporting. That is the reason why you need to have nav.com. You need to have it so you know what's reporting, so that you can reach out to those creditors if it's not reporting. A lot of them will tell you, then they'll be like, we don't report. And then you have just got business credit with somebody that nobody's ever going to know about it but you and them. So if nothing is reporting, then guess what? Nothing is building. If nothing's reporting, you got this business that you're doing great, you're being responsible in, but nothing is building because nobody knows about your credit history on the business side. So timelines for business credit. So it takes 30 to 90 days for your score to even start doing anything. The difference between personal and business profile credit scores is on the personal side, you got some kind of score just for having name, your personal information, your name, your address, and that kind of stuff. You got a score. On the business side, everybody starts out at this.
Yep.
0.
Yep.
And the scores only go up to 100. So you start out at 0, and it takes you 30 to 60 days to even start getting any type of traction with a score. It takes you about 3 to 6 months to even become fundable. And then when you do, you're going to be likely fundable with things like secured cards or vendor cards through on the business side. So at about the 6 month to 12-month time frame, you start to have a moderate business profile if you are with some lenders that actually report. And then you can start getting some business lending. So business credit is slow. You got to have some patience with it. It is on the slow side. I have a way around that, but it's on the slow side. So your funding stages is going to be vendors. It's going to be store cards. It's going to be business cards. It's going to be lines of credit. Those are your funding stages on the business side. You already know about the relationships. I told you guys about that. Credit unions, regional banks, and then the big banks.
Let me tell them about Operation Hope real quick. Operation Hope is an organization started by John Bryant Hope. You all look him up and look up Operation Hope. It's operationhope.org. We'll put it in the chat. But look, I'm not sure if he's still doing it, but he had a mission to help 1 million Black businesses with grants. And he gives you free business coaches. I had one. They tell you how to do your business plan, how to get ready for funding. You get a real business coach. And and they stick with you and they help you. It's a plethora of resources on his operationhope.org for business funding. And the other thing is, if you go through his program and you finish it all the way through, if you go to the bank and can't get a loan, he will put his own statement up for you, for his business, for you to get a loan. Now watch this. If you look him up, he is maybe the first or second richest Black man in terms of a small business. And he owns like rental properties all over the country. He is huge. And that's where he has a book out. We have the book. Literacy, something like financial literacy. It's not financial literacy because that's Dave Ramsey, but it's in that vein. But he has a book out that's worth getting, and he has Operation Hope. Look him up. And so we'll probably have to have a whole nother segment that talks about business funding in the future. I wanted to introduce you all to Darlene, let you know about her service and everything. We can keep going. We can go to 10 or 15 after, because I want her to finish this business credit. And we want to catch any of the last questions that you all have. Okay, Darlene, go ahead.
You're absolutely fine. And thank you. That's an awesome thing. There's people out here doing things, y'all. They're doing things to help. It's just kind of hard sometimes because you got to weed through the mess. But I'm here to say, don't give up hope if that is something that you are, trying to do. On the business side, the last thing that I was going to just make sure that I told you guys about was NAV. If you don't know what NAV is, when you click on the link, you're gonna know. But they just track your business credit. They monitor your scores. NAV is kind of your dashboard, okay, for you. They are not your builder, though. They are not the ones that you can like dispute items on and things of that nature. They are the individuals that have a dashboard for you to see how your business is panning out. So I just wanted to say that credit is a tool. It is not something to take lightly. And if you are like me, you done messed it up. one or two times in your life. No shame. And so it's a tool. It is something that we all have to utilize in order for us to get lending. But the good news is there's always been laws. These laws have been on the books for I don't know how long for you to have your credit repaired, so that you can have second chances, second opportunities. So that's something you can do. So credit is a tool. The structure, though, is what gives you the power.
Come on.
And then the positioning is what gets you funding.
Come on.
And I get people as little money as they want, but most of the people that come to me are looking for, a lot of them are coming because they just want get a house and with a good interest rate.
Yeah.
Because you can get a house, but you have a horrible interest rate. They just want a house with a good interest rate. But a lot of the people, they are people that are about to either want to start a business or they got a business. And they're like, I can't use my own money. That's the problem we all make. We use our own capital, our own cash, our own income from our own job, if we're working in corporate America, to fund our business.
Don't do it.
It's a hamster race.
Don't do it. I'm in it now. I'm trying to work my way out of it.
We're getting out of it. Yes, so my job is to get your credit restored, structured for you so that I can then get you lending other people's money. I will help you use other people's money and other people's assets to build your business. Yes, you pay that back, but you pay it back while you're scaling your business. Yes. You're not using your money to scale that business. You're using somebody else's money to scale that business. And there's a whole list of strategies. I do not just, get lending for people. I show them how to use the lending. So if you're coachable, I'm here with you. I show you how to use that lending so that you're able to run the funds around between your personal and business.
Yes. You definitely can. Yeah, I could have bought this whole house with business credit, but I wasn't ready. Okay. So let's answer this question from my really good friend, Jeffrey Scott. Jeffrey Scott's a really good friend, an old friend. He says, are credit counseling companies worth dealing with? Are they a waste of time? I have an opinion, but you are the expert here tonight. Go ahead.
I'm going to say credit counseling companies are not a waste of time information wise. You can get a lot of valuable information from credit counseling companies. Here's what is not good about them. They do not tell you things that you don't already know. So they are designed to, and it hasn't always been this way, but they are designed to provide counseling for you, but they are also making money. And so they are going to give you the things that you need to have, but they are also looking out for their best interest. If I'm if I'm giving it to you straight. So if you already have some knowledge, yes, credit counseling is good because then you will be proactively asking questions when you find gaps in the things that they're telling you. But if you don't know anything at all about credit and how it works, then I would say if you utilize them, just be prepared to always ask why. Always ask why and ask them to explain things to you, because it can be something that you walk away from and feel like you didn't get the help or it wasn't worth it for you.
And I want to add this caveat. Do your homework on them. See if they're, I said this last week on the bankruptcy episode. See if they're on the Better Business Bureau site. See if there are complaints against them. Check out their fees first before you sign anything. And if anyone remembers my episode on contracts, what am I getting ready to tell my faithful listeners? Read it before you sign it. Read the contract before you sign it, because she is absolutely right with the fees. They're going to make money off the credit counseling service they give you. So how much money are they going to make though? And do you really need that credit counseling? It may be cheaper to just use Darlene, because she's going to, in effect, counsel you as she fixes it. Hey, stop doing this, start doing this kind of thing. Now, some people may have the problems that are closer to bankruptcy, further away, maybe from what Darlene could do for you. But it's still, you want to check, because those fees could be high. They do make money off of, and Darlene, last I knew about those kind of organizations, if you go to them, so say you go to credit counseling, you sign up and they start helping you. Remember, one thing that they do is they negotiate your balances down on your credit cards. The last I knew, those credit card companies often shut that card off. And so, because they're like, hey, if you need credit counseling and we got to negotiate and bring your balance down, then you can't have access to the card anymore. They're either going to totally shut that card down, or they're going to reduce your credit limit down to what they negotiated the card down to. So if you had a $10,000 limit and the credit counseling people came in and said, hey, they can only pay back 4, they'll reduce your limit down to 4. They're not going to leave you at the 10, or they're going to cut that card off all the way. So make sure you understand the implications and consequences of entering into credit counseling, because a lot of creditors will then not do business with you. And there may be a better way. So before you sign that, do something like sign up to talk with Darlene, or maybe, talk with a bankruptcy attorney. Just figure out all the answers to get the best way, because some people's problems are further along than maybe what Darlene could do. And I just want to give y'all a full breadth of, kind of what you should look into. And if go ahead, Darlene, I'll look for other questions to see if they're in here for us to answer. Go ahead.
Yeah, you are so right. Just piggybacking off of Nishan. So I didn't want to say it because I don't ever like to bash any company or anything unless they are just faulty. They are doing legal work. But let me just say this to you. Consider this. So with those credit counseling companies, if you sign up with them, they do negotiate. So here's the thing. If you're signing up with them because you're just saying, oh my God, it's just so much stuff, I just can't, I just can't do it. And I don't want to even apply or get anything. I'm not looking to get anything for like the next year and a half. If that's the case, then you may be in good shape signing up with them. They are going to, they're going to bargain with your lenders and all of that stuff. But the reason I say for the next year and a half, up to 2 years, don't expect to get anything, because they are going to wait. They're part of their bargaining chip is that they are talking back and forth with those creditors for the first 90 days. So guess what's happening for the first 90 days? If these were some accounts that you had that were in good standing, but you just said, I cannot afford none of this no more, I'm gonna do credit counseling and let them negotiate my stuff. Well, you have a good account, you have a good profile, but what's going to happen is for the next 90 days, you're about to have 90-day late payments on all of those trade lines that they are negotiating on for you, because they are not going to negotiate with them in the first 30 days. They are going to string it out up to 90 days because they're looking for the least amount that they can pay out on or settling that debt for you. And a creditor is not going to accept like, oh, I'll let you pay, $100 in the first 15 to 30 days. A creditor is going to go back and forth with them. So it's going to be 90 days before any settling starts to happen. That's what I'm trying to say. So you're now going to have all of these 90-day late payments on your credit profile. And then the settling starts to happen. And then as the settling starts to happen, those people start getting paid off. That's a process, people. While that's happening, this stuff's still sitting on your credit. So now you're from 90 days, you're going to 6 months. It is going to be a year or longer before you can then get like refinance on your house or get a house for the first time or get a car, because before your credit is fixed with them, it's going to be shot. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. This is what I want to say. Like anything else I say on the Legal Lounge podcast, and I encourage people, do things before you need it. Be proactive with this. Like she said, we all out here lifing. Gas is over $4 a gallon. Jesus, we all need some help. But get to Darlene before you really need her, before you under the gun, like me. Like, I'm like, okay, all these years I've been funding my business off of my own personal stuff. And I should have really gotten serious about seeking business credit a lot earlier than what I've done. So I would encourage you. So Darlene, two things. Do you have a phone number that people can take down, or do you just have the website?
Yes. So let me give you guys my business phone number, and you will, if you go through my website, it gives you an opportunity to book a consult with me. So you can do that. It is a free consult. You do have to get the credit monitoring service, those 3 credit repair agencies. And I think it's like $29 or something. You have to have that, because I will have that. I'll have you in my software system on the day that we're on our call. I will have your credit pulled into my software system. I'll be telling you exactly what's wrong with it. So that's something you could do. But my number is 817-775-6101.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in. We or the producer will put it in there. Okay, and then once again the site, and it's We All Rise Enterprise.
We All Rise Enterprise. Yes.
Okay. All right. weallriseenterprise.com/funding. But yes, so get on there and book. That was, initially, I know just Darlene, just because she's my neighbor, actually. And so I know her from the community, but and actually I had got referred to someone else for this whole credit repair thing. Y'all, when I tell y'all zero got done. I had to let that process clear itself up, because you can't have all these people pinging the credit bureau about your credit report. It looks funny. So I had to let that clear up before I could even get Darlene. When I tell you I wish I'd had her first, because I wasted a lot of time with somebody who absolutely did nothing. And when I started, I was getting stuff, like I said, really in definitely the first 10 days. It's just been a month and a lot has happened. And just the support and just being able to talk to her about everything I need, but the strategy that I need too. She's going to ask you, what are you trying to do? That's when you say, I'm trying to buy a house. I'm trying to get business credit. Because the strategy matters. So just be ready for that. And we are so glad that you came on. We thank you all for the opportunity to present to you, talk to you about personal credit and business credit. All of the contact information should be here, but reach out to me if someone is missing any of the information. We thank you so much. And the Legal Lounge next week is going to talk about how to start a small business, the different type of business entities, LLCs, S Corps, C Corps, how to operate as a sole proprietor and do it in the best way that protects your assets. Because really, if you're operating as a sole proprietor, you out here, as they say, naked and afraid, because you got your personal assets subject to a lawsuit. If you're out here operating as a sole proprietor, there's a way that you can go ahead and become an LLC in any state. And the purpose of becoming an LLC is to protect your personal assets. You do not want to have bought a house or whatever it is, the things that you have, and it be subject to a lawsuit because you made some mistake. Or watch this, you're alleged to have made some mistake. Just the accusation is enough to wipe you out. So we need to do that. And we'll talk about how to start a business, the legal protections, and then just some basic general things on starting a business and getting up and going. All of this, the past few weeks have gone hand in hand with the bankruptcy, the personal credit, how to start a business, different things like that. So
I got my hand up.
Yes,
I got my hand up.
Go ahead.
I just want to say one thing. So if Nishan has me come back, and I will come back whenever she wants me to, but if she has me come back, you guys have all of your questions. It's going to be a total Q&A. And if you guys want to do live funding,
Woo!
on the podcast.
Come on.
We will do live funding. Here is the nugget though.
Come on.
I charge 15%, a 15% success fee if I get you funding. But on this live funding call, when you guys come back, now you got to go tell 10 people that tell 10 people.
Come
but
on.
you guys, if you guys come back, I will come in and do live funding with you guys with a few banks. And if you get funding, the only thing you will need to do is make sure that you share that you have gotten fundings. I will walk you through your pre-approval when you get it. And I will not charge you my success fee. So you are in essence going to get funding for free. But in order for me to come back and do live funding in the room, first I have to be invited. And second, you guys have to tell 10 people and make sure that they are on the podcast, because we need to get her podcast views up. And this is a worthy cause. Okay?
Thank you so much for that. All right. I love you guys. It's been another great week. I love my viewers. We'll be back next week. Everyone have a great Thursday night and a good weekend coming up.